So here we have my SBR, and here we have my recce rifle. So it's obviously a big size difference, as there always should be. But basically what I've found is with my recce rifle, it's a bit of a multi-purpose rifle, but now I've stuck that massive LPVO on it. It is mainly for that long distance. It's mainly for the long range capabilities that obviously the SBR can't really manage. This is a Tokyo Marui NGRS. It's super lightweight for what an NGRS normally is. And yeah, I think I've gone over the setup, the recent setup on that. And comparing that to my 11.5 SBR, basically what I want to talk about is my recce rifle is mainly used for recce long distances, but what I'm finding with this is it's not just a CQBR, it's mainly an all-round rifle. I've been using it in different scenarios. I did a video on putting the LPVO on this rifle, and initially I didn't like it, and I don't really see the point on putting an LPVO on an SBR. But with that being said, because it is gas, it's certainly capable of holding zero with an LPVO. But with that said, it's mainly just an all-round rifle. So the setups that I've had on it recently, as you might have seen on the Instagram, it's just an EOTech, got a small light that fits to the side, and I've been actually running the dead air suppressor. Super nice replica, I guess. I was running this suppressor, so it's similar to the dead airs. I think you call them DD suppressors or something like that, but it was a little bit too front heavy, a little bit too fat, so I decided to go just a little bit longer. But it's certainly more lightweight, super nice. So yeah, that's the purpose of this rifle. It is just an all-round, I guess, infantry style rifle, so it doesn't matter what kit I'm running, I can still run this rifle. If I'm running a plate carrier, I probably won't really be running my recce rifle so much, more likely to run a chest rig. So yeah, we're going to be doing a video on basically the fact that I don't want to keep this black, and I want to mix in some different colours, breaking up the shape and the overall colour scheme of it, because it's not just a CQB rifle, it's made to go into the field, and I've set it up for being in the field, in the forest, and it's time to put a little bit of camo on that just so it looks the part a little bit. And then we'll be doing another painting video specifically on our new bolt gun. This is really exciting to show this off. We're going to be showing you some shooting videos very soon. We're going to be showing you the colour scheme that we eventually go for on this. So more from this at some point in the future. But yeah, overall, let's crack on with the painting of this rifle. So now we're on to the painting stage, and I've decided that I'm, for now at least, only going to paint the upper. Reason being is I don't really want to touch the lower. Just on the upper I want to break up obviously the bold pattern, not pattern, sorry, the bold colour of the black obviously. We're going to introduce at first kind of like a base colour of some coyote. So as you can see, we've taped up all the important bits. So now it's just ready to get that first coat on it, so off we go. Doesn't have to be quite a heavy coat, it just needs to be, you know, just a little bit of dusting really, getting it on there. Obviously it all depends, I mean you've all heard it from everybody that's ever done a painting video, but it's all to your taste, I guess. So if you want it to be completely bold, then you need to really spray it on. Some people like it with the black showing through. For me, I like to just go all out, because at the end of the day it's going to get worn off because of the amount of times that I use it anyway. It's important to do this light brush stroke action. Make sure to get in everywhere that you need to get in. making sure not to paint actually in the gun as well. We couldn't find any tape, so we haven't done that, so apologies for anybody that's getting triggered. So this is it so far. I've painted the upper and I've fitted it to the now black lower. I'm really just looking at it, I figured it'd probably be best if I painted the whole thing anyway. Just does look a little bit weird, and obviously, you know, it's all part of the process. You've got to kind of fit things together, have a look at what they look like, see if they're going to be effective. And I've deemed this, it's not going to be that effective with the black lower, so I'm going to paint the whole thing. So I'll put it back together and I'm just going to start painting a little bit of coyote on the lower. And the grip all around here. Spin it around. Important, obviously, some people like to tape up the mag well and the trigger. I tend not to, because I'm not going to be spraying directly really anywhere near it. Obviously they are important bits where you don't really want to get too much paint in, but because I'm just lightly dusting over, building up some layers on here, I'm not too worried about it. Plus a lot of the paint will wear off due to use and everything. So that is pretty much the whole first layer done on this rifle. Just going to touch up some bits that I scratched. So yeah, that is overall the first layer on this paint job. So far looking very KS1-y. Going to keep the stock black obviously. Probably have a few accessories on the front and stuff, but we'll see how that looks once it's dried, and then we'll go from that. So now we're waiting for it to dry. We've obviously got the first coat of coyote all over the rifle. What we're going to do is now, to determine what colours and what patterns I put into it, we're just going to take a step over here, and we're basically going to put it in the environment that I'd normally be in. Just going to clean it up there. So far the coyote, it's a few tones off what the colour of the grass is, but we're not too worried about that. It's still a natural tone, it's very matte. But really what we want to be doing is looking at what colours does it slightly reflect. You can see a few little bits of green, obviously because of grass, and some brown on that. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to put some green and some brown into this. Maybe just some brown, but we'll have a look. We probably won't do too much fine detail like I did on my recce rifle with all the leaves and things like that. But when you're painting a rifle, it is always important to obviously match the colour scheme to your environment, or at least what you normally put that rifle through. Because if I'm in a CQB environment, I probably either wouldn't paint this rifle, I'd either keep it black, or I would paint it in some kind of grey kind of colour, a bit like my jacket, I guess. If I'm in quite a muddy agricultural area where it is just fields and fields, probably do some green and some brown. But where we are, it's mixed. You've got fields, you've got forest, so it's important to have these sandy colours mixed with the browns and the greens. So now I'm going to be putting on a little bit of green for some tonal range on this rifle. So no particular pattern, I'm just going to be spreading it on, a few stripes maybe, like that. Flip it over, do the top obviously. And then what we can do is obviously just blotch that paint in with dry cloth. Blotch it, maybe break it up a little bit, scratch it up just so it looks a bit more blended, so they're not, the colours aren't necessarily clashing against each other. So there's the green, and we can just a little bit more to it. it's all about building the colour up to the point that you like, because if you have it at the point where it's, you know, sticks out in your environment, or you've got it at a point where it just doesn't actually look good, you can't really step back. You can and you can't. It's a little bit of an awkward one really, because obviously you then have to get some paint stripper, or you're just going to be building on more and more layers of paint. The more layers of paint you have, quite frankly, the worse it's going to be, in my opinion. It's always best to just do little patches until you get exactly what you want. I'm going to be adding some brown in a little bit, but it's looking almost too green, so I'm going to add in just a little bit more coyote, just break it up, layer it on top, a little bit of dusting over there. Dusting of that. Now we've got a few patches obviously where it's a little bit too thick, so we're going to spray a little bit of green in, just like that. So there we have the green coyote. Now what we're going to do with the brown, so we're just going to put a few stripes in like that. A little bit of dusting. Go over it again with coyote, just so it's not too bright. Have it. There is so far painted rifle. At the end of this video we're going to show you it with its full setup, colour scheme that I've obviously gone for, and how effective it is. Okay, so now it's all painted and sprayed up. Here is the build on it. So as you saw, it's pretty bare, but obviously in different videos on the Instagram you've seen it built up in different, I guess, different variants of it. So I set it up for long range with the LPVO. I mainly run this EOTech. Also ran the good old Vortex Crossfire with it for a good year or so, I'd say. But I keep on going back to this EOTech just because it's got a wide window. It means when I'm entering buildings or whatever, I've got that wider view. It's not as, I guess, closed tunnel vision as this is. You know, I'm still aware of my surroundings with that. So I've got the Unity riser there, just because when I have it, I like to shoulder it and my eyesight is in line with the optic. I'm not a fan of having my cheek pressed down here, having to aim. I just like having to shoulder it and it's bang, it's right there. You know, bottom of my chin is just on that stock and I'm able to move around and it just comes up every time. So that's why I like the risers on EOTechs. Obviously a lot of people like them for night vision and things like that. That's not my reason. I've got a SP Tactical pistol brace on there, because we're not American. I've also got a maul here, and I've got my little Surefire torch just underneath. Pressure pad wrapped up in some camo wrap. Dead air suppressor. And really, what is this build? Well, it's like what I was saying, it's a very multi-purpose build. With that suppressor, I guess I've now got that length to be able to shoot quite far. The paint scheme is, well, it kind of goes in line with our F-Tac. You know, we want it to blend in with the surroundings and stuff. Obviously, I do have aspects which don't necessarily blend in so much, like the laser, the torch, the stock, but those are going to be less visible. I've got a flat earth suppressor. The rest of it is pretty much blends in with our surroundings, with the grass and everything around on the range, at F-Tac, at Camp Atlas and everything. And even though with that long suppressor, it is still quite long, I'm still able to maintain it at quite a short rifle, I guess. It's still an SBR, obviously, because it is an 11.5. But yeah, that is my all-round kind of purpose. Rifle setup for, not necessarily F-Tac, but it is kind of based on F-Tac, but for everything that we do, you know, compared to my recce rifle, which is now retiring as just recce, and then for even longer ranges we will be using our new bolt gun from B&T. So that is the overall, I guess, painting video done. on this rifle. I've just broken down a little bit of the setup. Hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of this rifle and possibly a review video on how it shoots, etc. But yeah, this is kind of like the final setup for this rifle. Super happy with it, super happy with the paint job. I think it looks pretty neat. And yeah, there we go. That's the end of the video on our, I guess, painting video.